Give me an intuition roll, which is me cheating because I'm not quite sure. She'll tell you stuff, but I'm not quite sure how much I can have her know. So I'm going to use intuition to say, if you get a good roll.
Yeah, well, intuition's kind of that.
Maybe I should have just gone for fate, but I think
Intuition's probably better.
Intuition is the role you're supposed to use when your Cthulhu investigator has failed all their detection rolls.
No, exactly. This is the GM save roll. So, given a rather good score and a roll of 85, this may actually be the one contribution I make to,
Oh wow,
plot.
I can tell you some of my backstory.
I get a great result.
A great result. Cool.
Nice and solid.
So, Marion's telling you, mostly she just kind of, looks after the kids, talks to the kids. Doesn't have a lot to do with most of the hill folk. But there's a couple who come and help out and drop off food and things like that. She does chat to them. She's heard that you said a Temple of Dana? I'd heard there's some elves been hanging around in the camps and trying to recruit people or something. I don't know there.
Well, we may be dealing with two different things here. There's also some kind of interesting or blending of Dana and Jessie Lou worship as well, but I can tell you that was not actually, and then I kind of confused myself. I guess it's all Dana. Well, anyway, it's not in an ordinary Temple of Dana. It was traveling around in a tent instead of being in a proper wooded grove where it belongs.
So Marion's like, I don't know what these pointy elves get up to. And then kind of present company, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know either, so we're together on that one.
But she says I had heard they keep coming down offering food and help to people, which is great and all, but maybe Hallie can tell you what happened.
All right. Well,
yeah, we never really heard her talk.
Yeah, I guess so. Although at the moment, Ross, I will say that rather than pursue this syllable by syllable, I'm okay just to accept hospitality for a while, and we can do more chit chat, later.
Yeah,
it's fine by me, unless there's something that Christabel wants to do. I mean, Moonsglow had a point, right? We kind of need a break.
Yeah.
Cool. You get to see the touching moment when little Joe realizes his sister is back and comes over to give her a big hug. So, trying to be all tough, but he's reuniting orphans.
Well, we have just reunited all kinds of affectionate relationships this time, which is good, as opposed to dismembering people and assassinating them and
nothing terrible has happened today. I have to do something about that. Shall we cut back to see Robbie? Girl was kind of finishing breakfast with a young lady who has at some point introduced herself as Fatima.
Yeah, what is her name?
Fatima.
When we're finishing up, I think Girl still has in her mind the idea of the city trying to get equilibrium established outside the city. So I think she'll ask Fatima what would be the most easiest way to get.
Oh, she says it's not a prison. I mean, they'll let you out through the gate. So
well, it kind of depends on the you part.
Unless you're in trouble. I kind of figured you got in some trouble when you rescued Seren, but
Yeah, and I
Did you say
Yeah.
serpentines? Because you don't want to get involved with them. They're scary.
um this was near the southern gate, right? Is where we had been.
Okay.
Say given that's probably not to exit from.
Well, I do most of my business out on the hills to the east and the east gate, and I'm going in and out all the time. I mean, got business outside, people to see and people to do. I was going to try and get Doreen out in a wagon, but
If she can sneak a Yeti out, she can sneak you out.
I mean, because I would imagine that Durham would be eager to get out of the city, and I would be in your debt if you could get me out with Durham, and I can well.
mm-hmm. A debt. That's can be a serious thing, but I'll make a bargain roll. See if since you started talking on those sorts.
I got a good result on this.
Okay. Cool. So she's clearly thinking about it, and she's clearly a woman who's used to making deals, and so she's. I can get you out, I think, but you owe me a debt. I don't know how you think you can repay it, particularly if you're off and away, and I never see you again. But you did a good thing for my friend. Did you have something else in mind as well?
Well, I mean, I'm really the place where I reside, but is there anything need outside the city? I'm somebody who's used to the woods and to the hills.
Mm-hmm. So she is clearly thinking in two minds, and then she says, she decides to talk to you, and she tells you she has a plan, but someone who knows their way in the wilderness would really help. My dad has this story about a valley high up in the mountain, where the most fantastic horses come to breed, and she'd love to take some of her horses up there and see if she could get them with foals. But it's a long way, and she'd certainly need help getting up. If you were interested, maybe we could help each other out.
What direction is this valley?
It's high in the mountain. I mean, I'd never been. My dad says he went there once, and
You seem a little uncertain about and I guess the substance of this legend. I mean, would it work for me to kind of get information for you?
that sounds good. You can scout around a bit and ask some questions and things, and then we can meet up in a few days outside the city, since that's clearly where you need to be right now. I'll talk to my dad more about it as well. Maybe you can tell me more and like. Do you want to give me a quick intelligence?
I got a great result.
Cool. Okay. So you can tell that it's not that this is all made up, but she's clearly more excited about the idea than has a proper thought out plan. But hey, that could all change if you find enough information to make it happen.
I think what I would say is, okay, well, why if this seems like a good bargain for me,
mm-hmm.
You give me a week to see what I can out and take me out of the city, kind of rendezvous where you leave me outside the city in a week.
And she spits on her hand and puts it out in front of her. Sounds like we got a deal.
Yes. We'll shake her hand.
I've thought it might be interesting to look at the backs of our character sheets and see how we feel about our original goals. If people filled them in.
That seems like a good idea. I would. Everyone had goals. I don't know if they put them on the character, but if you put them on their bottoms of their stories as well.
Also, the game never says anything about concluding goals or anything. It's really, really big on making them during character creation. The brief section about them is really stern. Make up your character's goals. Have them. Then there's nothing about addressing them in play.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing about concluding them or adding new ones. I strongly suspect that for the authors that falls in the category of things that were so obvious to them they didn't bother to write them down as procedure. It's just. And then there's also the dangerous possibility that the character goals were basically hooks. You throw in a detail that involves the goal, and that means that you can hook them into whatever it is you have planned. And they have to go. I don't know. That's sort of the negative version of such a thing. But they don't say. They don't.
They kind of, there's hints in two directions, and it's always got that thing. It's written the way you write a role-playing game.
Right.
Here's how you will do this and this and this. But obviously you'll be going down into a dungeon and keeping the doors in or 10 by 10 rooms.
Which is also weird because there's almost no reference to any such behavior, and the creatures are also cultural and geographic that it seems odd to think of stalking a dungeon with their creatures.
Right.
It doesn't make any conceptual sense at all. Not even through extrapolation. I mean, they give too much context for the creatures for you to do that with. I don't know if you agree. That's kind of my reading. Yeah.
Yes, although it's very obvious that they wrote one of the scenarios in on the website, and then because they said every room in this adventure is of some sort, we will now have a million different sorts of cats in the bestiary. But even that one, although it's theoretically a dungeon, it's like this huge social context thing for it.
Rod, did you have your goals written down?
Yeah, I do. They're pretty long term. I mean, except for Meat Hot Dude. That hasn't been going so well.
He's passable.
But start own business. Exotic pet stuff.
There have been all sorts of dudes. You just didn't think any of them were hot.
No.
So
that's true.
The Byronic girlfriend of Moonslow.
Yeah, that's not
Grumpy Spriggan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, maybe someone else.
Anything else on the goals list?
Play Naomi Soul Bear. That's for later. Come to terms with Ruamites. that's also later. I mean,
I feel like there are
how-
implied steps on the way.
yeah, I know what you mean.
I've very much got the impression you want to be in a position of strength in order to go up against me. So I am
Yeah.
considering dangling opportunities to
Well,
do
well,
that.
it's just all of these. It's just all of these darn pitiable NPCs are so morally compelling. Feel like I have to fix their problem.
There's weird
Before I work
dynamics
on
too of the emergent interactions among our characters, and then you adopt each other's
Yeah.
goals as your own, and so that tends to get
Yeah.
things gray. Mine were to reconcile with Evergreen Blessing, which I decided to amend to closure,
Right.
and restore the silver bow to Dana's temple, find Sun Fox, did that,
That worked.
Good job.
and lift the curse. And finally, to seek training by the Everyman Society, which is the one that is sort of a long-term new life approach.
Since you mentioned that, had you considered how you have come to know about the Everyman Society, who are, after all, a secretive society?
I am, after all, what?
They are, after all, a secretive society.
I see. Yeah, yes, but my character role is spy. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
I find shit
I
out.
suppose I was wondering if you would perhaps say met someone in prison who told.
Actually, that's probably very likely. Yeah.
I should also. I'll make a roll. Pages and pages of backstory and things. I can't tell you because you keep never roll.
I know.
Oh well.
And so then,
Hey, how much time has actually passed since like
Since
day
we started.
one?
it's like 2 days
So-
or some shit like that.
We started around late evening on the 23rd of July, a Wednesday,
So it's
and it is now mid-morning on Friday.
Yeah, we need a break. That's Robbie, did you have roles written down?
Rules were locate Modthrith. I have accomplished, and that our next session or fallout from that, because my memory of memory is going to probably bubbling forward or erupting forward.
Yeah.
And then another one was revenge on the nomad lawgiver,
Right.
involved with my enslavement as a kind of a fighter warrior.
Right.
Yes.
Emotional vacuum left by my lover's suicide.
Right.
Two goals are now kind of in conflict, I think, because of that appearance of the ghost of my, who was not to be so violent.
It's it's a work in progress.
He's a ghost. What does he know?
So anyway, I just thought it would be kind of interesting to review the goals and see what was up.
Yeah.
I got no checks this time around. I did not roll a catastrophe or an awesome.
Well, everybody can have 2 bonus.
Okay, so where should I put them? I think it's time to improve my theology.
Oh, okay.
Tried to use that a few times.
That feels like it's now a flag, as people refer to people.
What does that mean? What?
I would interpret that as like, we're trying to improve your theology, so I don't necessarily shuffle Evergreen Blessing off the page.
Well, maybe. I
Engaging
mean, it
with all
just
the
seems like everyone's religion is involved a lot.
Yeah.
And so, And it does go up, so that's nice.
Sincerity and your legends. Here's legends. My legends is so pathetic that a roll of 75 gives me a check.
All right then. And I'm going to make my do my artistry.
And sincerity goes up too. All right.
Oh wait, no, entertain, not artistry.
Okay.
Entertain is 13. Oh, I might have done too well on that one. Oh yeah. Nah. I'm too good at entertaining. I'm gonna have to roll really badly to improve that.
So, if you're, I had another thing. If you are looking at your goals and wanting to write new ones or fill them in on the character, do feel free to also write down characters and their relationships.
Right. Yeah, I've been trying to be a little bit more, proactive about getting people's names.
Feel free to only write down the ones who are interesting.
Right.
Right.
And or demand I actually tell you what they're called. I don't tell you people. I might do a little sheet for you.
Okay. Well,
all right.
But it's been good to see everyone. Are people all right for same time next week?
Good night.
Yes.
I'll see you guys
Thanks,
later.
everyone.
Okay.